Subscribe to our YouTube channel for in-depth interviews of India Inc. and press the bell icon so that you do not miss our updates.
Hello and welcome to Nirmal Bang, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Hiral Daria. We have with us Neeraj Shirgaonkar, President at ISMA and MD at Yugar Sugar, joining in. Welcome to the show, Neeraj, and always a pleasure to speak to you. Neeraj, overall, if you go to see the kind of impact that we've seen with regards to COVID across sectors, it's pretty varied. Some sectors have benefited, some sectors have seen a major negative impact. How would you express or explain the performance of the sugar sector during COVID?
Good afternoon, and thanks for having me on the show. Um, as far as the sugar industry goes, uh, one can say that over the past 1.5 years, we've learned to live with COVID just like any other industry. We did earlier in the first wave had some issues with uh, the operations as such. Luckily, we were a part of the Essential Commodity and Essential Services Act. So, from that point of view, there was no disturbance to production at all. But in terms of deliveries, in terms of export consignments, there were some teething issues in the first wave. However, coming to the second wave, we've learned to live with these issues, and we've also learned to manage our operations. So, from that perspective, we've been pretty much insulated from the COVID wave as such. But going as far as supply and the demand, we can speak about it in the coming minutes. But as an industry, I don't think that we've been affected as much by COVID.
Right. And then with this, Neeraj, another aspect is that earlier the output was pegged at around 29.9 million tons for the current season against a 27.4 million ton that we saw in the last season. Do you think that's something which we will continue, or do you think there is a possibility we could go higher?
So we're definitely going to go higher. In fact, ISMA always had their numbers in excess of 30 million.
Hmm.
And even as we speak today, we have crossed production for this season of 305 lakh tons to 306 lakh tons. And we always have a special season of production in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, which is accounted for as part of this season's production. Going by that, we see another 3 to 4 lakh tons of sugar being produced in that early season in the south. So we are pegging our number at somewhere close to 30.9 million or 309 lakh tons for this season's production.
Right. And between the domestic market and the exports, what's seeming more lucrative?
Well, that's a difficult question to answer because the world prices keep fluctuating. So, and the government has also released their support, seeing the increase in the world prices. So, from that perspective, with government support, export is encouraging for sure. The domestic prices have pretty much been range bound because India, the Indian sugar industry has seen surplus production for at least 4 out of the last 5 years. So there's always been a high opening stock and a high closing stock in that sense of sugar, due to which the prices have not got any chance to uh, increase over to any significant levels above the MSP. Whereas the cane prices definitely have gone up in that way. The cost of production has gone up. From that perspective, there seems to be a balance in between domestic sale as well as export sale of sugar.
Right. And from the demand perspective, how is it seeming? Because currently, I think so far we've done for, around 4.25 million tons of sugar in terms of exports. The quota that has been assigned for exports is 6 million tons. Do you think it'll be simple to meet the 6 million ton quota with regards to exports whilst meeting the domestic demand?
Actually, this year has been a record in terms of export for the Indian sugar industry.
Hmm.
Very late last year in December, the government of India announced 6 million tons of the export quota. And as of today, we stand at close to 5.8 million tons of sugar being contracted and over 4.6 lakh tons of, 4.6 million tons of sugar being shipped, actually shipped. So we are pretty much confident that and this is just 6 months since the program was announced. So we are pretty much confident that this is going to be, in terms of time as well as in terms of volume, this is going to be quite a record year in terms of exports. And if you go to see the entire picture for this year gone by, we are looking at close to around not 6 but 7 million tons being exported, because there were around 3 to 4 lakh tons of sugar exported in October to December last year, which was part of the 2019-20 MAEQ
Hmm.
export quota, the previous year's export quota. And we're also seeing a small amount of sugar, maybe another 3 to 4 lakh tons being exported under OGL. So we are going to pretty much close to reaching 7 million tons. And we're also looking forward to a maybe similar or even better figure for the coming year for exports.
Right. So with this, I mean, one positive that India got was that the production was weak with regards to Brazil as well as Thailand. However, in the next season, the USDA is predicting that probably Thailand is going to rebound, and probably they are seeing a higher yield as well. And they could export a record of around 10.4 million tons of sugar next season. If we see that kind of a rebound coming in terms of Thailand, do you think that's something which could hamper Indian exports?
That's a good question. Actually, Thailand has been suffering from uh, dry weather and drought for the last 3 seasons. So that much of less sugar has been coming into the global market due to that. And this season, we're also hearing Brazil might come down on a bit of sugar production due to dry weather existing out there too in the center south. So going by these predictions, we're looking at anywhere between uh, probably 12 to 14 million tons of less exports happening. But that window of opportunity, as rightly mentioned by you, is going to be for the next probably 7 to 9 months. Where
Hmm.
they will have a very good uh, opportunity window to export their sugar right up to maybe Feb of next year, because Thailand will definitely bounce back. But going ahead, that's quite a sizable time. The entire season we get to export our sugar, and going by the current year's speed of export, I think that augurs well for Indian sugar exports.
Right. And with this, I think in the current year, Neeraj, our production, if we are taking around 32.8 million tons into consideration, I think over 2 million tons have gone into ethanol production. Taking into consideration the government's policy with regards to ethanol blending, do you think that could solve this issue
Which issue are you talking about?
with regards to higher production in case our export quota reduces, taking that, okay, we're not able to export that much, if Thailand comes through, do you think we will be able to use that excess production with regards to ethanol?
So, as far as ethanol goes, for this year, you rightly pointed out that we are looking at close to 20 lakh tons of diversion of sugar through B-heavy molasses and cane juice into ethanol. That figure will definitely keep going up in the next 3 seasons, with the aim of us having to probably convert around 60 lakh tons by 2023-24 as the capacities build up into ethanol, thereby matching the consumption and production levels in India. But as far as the immediate season goes by, it's just going to be 20 lakh tons. So that much of diversion is going to happen. So as we move ahead, it is going to be a balance of sugar exports, uh, which will go on, as well as an increasing ethanol diversion from sugar. So
Hmm.
it is going to be a balance which we'll have to see. Like this year was 20 million, 20 lakh tons plus an export of 60 lakh tons. So a combination of both is going to slowly help us reduce this huge opening balance, which is almost close to 14 to 15 million tons a couple of years back. Today we are looking at probably towards the end of the season coming to anywhere between 7 to 8 million tons, which will be good progress made for the industry.
Okay. Right. And overall, what's the kind of global price trend looking like? Because we did see a surge on the back of wheat production in Brazil and Thailand. And, we did see support coming in, for a lot of Indian sugar companies. So how are you seeing the price trend currently?
The price trend seems to be very bullish for white sugar as well as for the raws, we are seeing a quite a good peaking of prices. In fact, they're also crossed 18 cents. Right now, I think they're hovering around anywhere between 17 and 17 and a half cents as we speak today. So I feel that this trend is going to continue at least in the period we spoke about, where the export opportunity would be open for India. And as it also a big factor here would be as to what would Brazil be producing in the coming season, whether how much of ethanol they would be making and what would be the mix for between sugar and ethanol. That would be a major factor too in determining the prices and what at what point it would make sense for Brazil to have a parity to make ethanol instead of sugar. It would be difficult to project after 8 to 9 months.
Hmm. And from here on, what's that threshold with regards to global sugar prices, wherein for exports we do need an incentive, and say for example, if it crosses 19 to 20 cents a pound, that's when probably government incentives are not really required. What's that threshold that we could look at?
It's very difficult to actually arrive at one single threshold. We know that the prices of the global markets are not going to be stable at 19 cents throughout. Neither are they going to be maybe at 15 cents. We don't have an idea of how the global prices are going to move ahead. But as far as the government support goes, you are aware that they have already reduced the support from 6,000 to 4,000
Hmm.
uh, per ton just I think a month back. And the industry has taken that positively, and the exports are still going on. But to say that India, the entire amount of 6 million or 7 million tons of sugar would have to be exported without government support could be definitely a challenge. So that will have to be seen in the coming months as the policy gets announced. We are looking forward to the export policy to be announced for the coming season, maybe after a quarter or so, I guess. So looking into all these scenarios, it would be difficult to project as to at one particular price at which um, sugar can be exported without any support. That will be very difficult actually for India.
Okay. And with this, what are the kind of dues that we are seeing right now with regards to sugarcane farmers?
So the cane areas we're seeing as per the food ministry, I think we're close to somewhere between 20 to 22,000 crores of areas right now. And majority of the areas come from Uttar Pradesh and followed by Maharashtra, and also there are some areas in Karnataka. So those are the levels which we are seeing. But once we see the ethanol capacity is increasing and some other reforms also coming in, we're definitely looking to reduce those areas.
Hmm. And with regards to exports as well, how big a concern is freight rates and containers availability? Because that was a concern that everyone was facing. Has that eased out?
Yeah, that has definitely eased out right now. That was a concern in the first wave and a few months back when a lot of sugar was getting stuck up at the ports. And due to a lack of containers, due to congestion of ports in different countries and in ports of different countries due to COVID restrictions, actually.
Hmm.
That seems to be easing out right now, at least not to my knowledge. I've heard any sugar being exported lesser than what we've seen due to any freight related matters. Actually, in the month of April, we have actually done a record export. I think it's close
Hmm.
to a million tons has been exported just in shipped actually in April. So I'm not seeing that problem as of today,
Hmm. Right.
thankfully.
And how lucrative from a longer term perspective, Neeraj, will exports be? Because if you talk about Indian cane prices, they're almost double the world prices. So what I mean, do you think how sustainable is that going to be?
So we are all aware that from 2023 onwards, the WTO regulations come in whereby the government is going to be restricted from providing support for Indian sugar industry exports. So in that perspective, exporting sugar without subsidy is always going to be a challenge because the cost of cane, the cost of production is extremely high. We pay the highest cane price in the world. Our sugar prices are also amongst the lowest. So that's the reason why we also need a higher MSP to support the high cane prices until ethanol kicks in and the capacities are built.
Hmm.
So from that perspective, we're looking at the next 2 to 3 seasons of exports happening. Of course, the exports will get tapered due to the reasons I mentioned. But at the same time, the ethanol capacities are going to increase. So that surplus of sugar will be consumed if not through exports, it will be through ethanol in the coming season.
Right. So ethanol blending has come in as a blessing in disguise. We've seen a record 7.2% currently. The government has advanced the target date for 20% ethanol blending as well to 2023. How big a positive is this going to be? And do you think we could start seeing rollout in the next 1 year, and that could see a huge impact on the revenue and the profit opportunity for sugar companies?
Actually, in my view, ethanol is going to be a big game changer for the Indian sugar industry. And if you see, just as near as probably 8 to 10 days back, the Prime Minister has announced the program from NITI Aayog for ethanol blended uh, fuel, the EBP program, whereby we have also committed to the Bureau of Indian Standards committing to E12 and E15 levels, and also advancing the 20% blend target to 2025, and also initiating E20 blending from the year 2023, with of course changes happening in vehicles too uh, to get that change accommodated. So from all these are some of the very positive steps and reforms which have been taken from the government of India, and we are really thankful for them for this step. And of course, the larger picture being that we are helping to reduce the carbon footprint, and also reducing the net import bill,
Mm,
reducing pollution, and also reducing surplus sugar and increasing the reducing the surplus sugar, and also reducing the cane arrears. So it seems to be a win-win situation. Uh, the ethanol is going to convert the sugar industry slowly into a really a structured, non-cyclical industry, and pretty much this is going to be the industry could be viewed as a cane to energy processor. And the most positive factor would be that the farmer would get his payments right on time
mm,
due to improved cash flow of the sugar mill. So all in all, this seems to be a really game-changing move, and it's going to take some time because it's a new policy, and the adoption, the building up capacity is going to take time. Over close to 1,000 projects are in the pipeline, and we're looking at right now we have a target of around probably 800 to 1,000 crore liters in the near future, and around 2,000 crore liters of capacity in the distant future. If you take molasses plus
mm,
grain-based distilleries, current capacity is being around 600 crore liters, where 400 come from molasses and around 200 come from grain. So all in all, it seems to be a very challenging and very interesting program for the industry. And the government is also supported by way of interest subvention schemes, where the industry is able to invest and put up capacities at low interest rates and a good moratorium. Um, all in all, there is a lot of encouragement and support, and I see this program really developing very well in the foreseeable future.
right. But how achievable is 20% blending by 2023?
So that's what I wanted to clarify, that the target for E20 is 2025, and 2023 is the date of notification for
Okay,
blending of 20% ethanol with fuel. So as of now, we are at a level of 7.5% as we talk today, and
correct.
we're looking at ending the year at 8.5% blending, which will be close to 350 crore liters. So as soon as we go into the next season, we're looking at 10% blending, which will be over 410 to 415 crore
Mm,
liters.
mm,
So as we go into the year 2023-24, we need to move closer towards the target of 20%. So it will be gradual, but it is definitely achievable.
mm, mm. Right. So this will be, Neeraj, on the demand side of it, with regards to ethanol. How well equipped are we on the supply side? What is the current capacity that we have with regards to ethanol? And how much more will need to be added to reach this kind of demand?
Like I mentioned earlier, our capacities right now are close to 650 crore liters
Hmm.
as a combination of molasses and grain. And that can pretty much take care of, like I said, blending way above 12% also. So right now the capacities are there. It is a matter of course, it's also a function of how much of motor fuel consumption happens and how quickly. COVID has had some restrictions due to which motor fuel demand has gone down in the last 1 or 2 years. But we're definitely seeing a pickup in that, and the government is also doing its best to make sure that more ethanol gets blended in a shorter period of time. So going by that, capacities are definitely going to come up. and government is also increasing the uh, production of ethanol through different feedstocks, right from the sugar-based feedstock of sugar syrup, C heavy, B heavy molasses, as well as cane juice. And we're also looking at non-sugar feedstocks like maize and also some other feedstocks
Hmm.
like damaged food grains and surplus rice and rotten potatoes. So going by this, we can also see that it is a very strong policy with different feedstocks leading to one product, which is ethanol. So that is pretty much capacities are going to be built up much faster.
Right. And overall, for many sugar producing companies, ethanol was so far just a byproduct for generating additional revenues. Do you think this equation will completely reverse for many plants? And clearly, because ethanol is going to be a higher return on capital business. So, is there a possibility that a lot more part of the revenues for sugar companies will start coming from ethanol versus sugar?
So the core sugar production is always going to be there, where the country's requirement is today around 26 million tons, and we are producing in excess of 32 to 33 on an average. So definitely, that much sugar to take care of India's domestic demand is always going to be produced by the sugar mill. That core business is always going to stay. But as we move on, ethanol is definitely going to become a more value-added product for the sugar industry in terms of immediate cash flows, in terms of helping the environment, in terms of reducing the cane farmer payments. So there are there's the multiple benefits of ethanol to the sugar industry. Whereas the sugar production, of course, is going to go on. It's not going to be that everybody is going to convert to just make ethanol. It is going to be a gradual transition, but some elements of the industry will definitely make more ethanol than the more traditional one. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. And with this, I was just reading a report which said that a combination of higher sugar exports, taking into consideration the subsidies and higher ethanol blending, could probably boost sugar margins by almost around 90 to 100 basis points. Is that something that which we could factor in?
I wouldn't be able to comment on that right now because I need to check the exact calculation. I'm not sure. Well, it's not easy to
Hmm.
speak on behalf of the industry as to what could be the exact percentage. You're talking about the margins, right now?
Yeah, margins
I'm sorry, won't be able to comment on that exactly, but definitely, like I mentioned, the cash flows
will
would
improve.
increase. So yeah, will definitely improve.
Right. And very lastly, Neeraj, with regards to where, if you talk about the MSP goes, now I think the last time the MSP was fixed was around 31 rupees, if I'm not mistaken, in 2019. Do you think there is an urgent need now to increase the MSP? And if yes, what should be the break even to what the MSP should be increased to?
ISMA has always projected that for the current level of cost of production and also the FRP, which is currently at 28.50 per quintal, we are looking at an equivalent minimum selling price for sugar of 34.5 to 35
Hmm.
rupees. Right now, we are at an MSP of 31.
Hmm.
Even the state governments as well as Niti Aayog
Hmm.
and also state associations have all recommended to Government of India for an increase to at least 33 rupees per kg of sugar. So we are looking at definitely an increase because until the ethanol capacities get built, in order to reduce the cane areas to make more prompt payments, not only to the farmers but also repayment of our bank loans, because every year we are taking a huge drawing power based
Hmm.
on our stocks. So to ease in this burden, because there are over 530 mills in India right now, and ethanol projects are slowly coming up, so it's going to take a little bit of time. So it's very important that the MSP also is increased to the levels which we have requested for. So going by that, I think the MSP also is a very important factor looking into the cash flow of mills.
Right. And any idea as to by when this recommendation could be accepted, and any announcements that could be expected?
We are hopeful that it can be done very soon, but we don't have any news on
Clarity on it.
when that will come.
Right. All right, Neeraj. Thank you so much for speaking to Nirmal Bang. It was always a pleasure to speak to you. I hope you enjoyed the conversation as well. Thank you. Stay safe and speak to you soon again.
Thank you. It was a
Thank
pleasure here.